You send a message and watch it sit there unanswered. No typing bubble, no reply. Just silence, stretching past the point where it starts to feel uncomfortable. Your mind runs through every harmless explanation it can find. Busy. Forgot. Bad timing. None of them quite land. Your body doesn't buy it either. It reacts like something is actually wrong. That might not be overthinking. It might be a very old alarm, still doing exactly the job it was built to do. Picture a small group a long time ago. Now picture one person that group has quietly stopped responding to. Nobody shouts. Nobody punishes them out loud. The group just goes quiet around them. Eyes slide past when they talk. Nobody moves closer. Nobody saves them a share of the food. In a group that size, this wasn't a minor social slight. It could mean losing protection, food, shelter, the only people who'd notice if you didn't wake up one morning. For most of human history, survival was never something a person managed alone, so the body learned to treat exclusion like danger, real physical danger. But why would silence of all things earn a full alarm system? Because silence was never actually quiet for the person on the receiving end of it. Psychologist Kipling Williams helped study this through something almost embarrassingly simple: Cyberball. Someone plays a virtual game of catch with two other players. At first, the ball comes their way. Then, with no warning and no explanation, it stops. That's the entire experiment. No insult, no argument, nobody says a word. And the people left out don't just shrug it off. Research on social exclusion has found that it can activate some of the same brain systems linked to physical pain. Being ignored isn't just a figure of speech. Some part of the nervous system treats social pain as something deeply real. That was a video game. Nobody real was even involved. Now think about what that same wiring does with something that actually matters to you. A message left unread, a group chat that keeps moving without you, a comment nobody replies to, sitting there by itself. None of it threatens your food, your shelter, your safety, not really. Nobody is deciding whether you eat tonight. But the alarm doesn't check for that, it just fires, full strength over a blue checkmark and two words, seen and nothing after. Add a slow morning, a bad week, a little extra self-doubt already sitting there, and that same small silence can knock the wind out of someone completely. Multiply that by 100 small moments a week. Spread across every app quietly keeping score, and an ordinary day starts to feel like one long stretch of being almost noticed. No wonder people check their phones like something out there might finally answer. Here's what makes it worse. In the old world, being ignored had a shape you could see. You knew the face behind it. You could read the mood around the fire and go find out what went wrong. Today, you can be ignored by a total stranger in a comment section, someone who forgot you existed the second they scrolled past. That difference changes who's actually responsible for how it feels. The threat feels personal. The person delivering it usually isn't thinking about you at all. They didn't decide to hurt you. They just closed the app. It would be easy to say the old world handled this better, but it came at a cost too. Being frozen out of a group that small had nowhere to go. No privacy to recover in. You couldn't mute the tribe, couldn't block your way into an hour of peace. Modern life, for everything it's taken, did hand people something ancient humans rarely got. Room to walk away from one group's silence and be fully seen somewhere else. Still, something about the old version made more sense. Back then, being ignored by the fire meant something was visibly wrong. There was a real group, a real place, and at least a real chance to face what had happened. Now the fire's gone. What replaced it doesn't pull anyone back in on its own, and it isn't even tracking who's still in the circle. Some days there's barely a circle at all. The ache hasn't changed. The rescue almost never shows up the way it used to. Maybe that's what's really sitting underneath every unanswered message. Not the message itself. A very old need to know you still matter to the people around you, checked the only way it ever learned how. Are they still looking my way? If you've ever felt smaller after being left on red, that wasn't nothing. And it wasn't weakness either. It was an old system doing the only job it was ever given, in a world it was never built to read correctly.